Hey, what's going on, guys? The Horror Man back with the next review of the Terror in the Isles challenge. This time, Jason and I watched Night of the Living Dead. They're coming to get you, Barbara. Night of the Living Dead is the 1968 classic horror film from George A. Romero. Guys, I'm sure you've all seen this one. And if you haven't, turn this video off right now and go watch Night of the Living Dead. Nah, don't really do that. Finish watching my video, but then go watch the movie if you haven't. As I've previously mentioned, Terror in the Isles features some mainstream horror films, such as this one, and some more obscure horror films. Jason and I decided to get this one out of the way, since, again, we're sure everybody has seen it. Of course, it had to be featured in Terror in the Isles, though, so we watched it and we're reviewing it. I want to make that clear, too. Jason and I watch every film in these challenges, even if we've seen them plenty of times in the past. We specifically watch them again together, so that way we can do our reviews. Since you've most likely seen it, you should know the story. Night of the Living Dead is about a group of people who take shelter in a farmhouse in Pennsylvania after a zombie outbreak. They include a woman named Barbara, who, along with her brother Johnny, were visiting their father's grave in the cemetery. Johnny was attacked and killed by a zombie in the cemetery, but Barbara managed to get away. Then there is Ben, who is maybe one of the greatest heroes in horror history. He's intelligent, crafty, and brave. There's Harry Cooper, his wife Helen, and their daughter Karen. And then there's young couple Tom and Judy. And Judy is a smoke show. As they barricade themselves in the farmhouse, almost immediately tensions rise amongst them. Harry doesn't like the fact that Ben has taken control of the situation. It basically becomes a pissing contest between the two of them. Harry is definitely the villain here, though, along with the horde of zombies making their way to the farmhouse. Getting updates from the news on the television, the group learns that mass murders are taking place all over the eastern coast. It appears that maybe radiation from space is to blame. And the zombies aren't only killing their victims, they're eating them too. As the group decides whether to run, hide, or fight, the zombies get closer. It's funny, because there's so much I could say about Night of the Living Dead, but all of it would be something that has been said time and time again. This movie has been critiqued and dissected for decades. It probably goes without saying, Night of the Living Dead is one of the most influential horror films ever made. Think about all of the horror we wouldn't have without Night of the Living Dead. It also might be the most played horror film ever, with it being under public domain. I love how in so many slasher films and Halloween-themed films, Night of the Living Dead is playing on the TV. Any horror film, really, for that matter. It's such an important movie, too, and again, it's all been talked about before. The character of Ben, as I mentioned earlier, is so heroic, making his fate all the more heart-wrenching. The ending of Night of the Living Dead is such a gut punch. There are multiple scenes of the movie featured in Terror in the Isles, including the infamous stabbing scene in the basement. I couldn't imagine Night of the Living Dead not being in the compilation. One movie that wasn't, though, surprisingly, is my relatable recommendation, The Evil Dead. The Evil Dead, as I'm sure you know, is a 1981 horror film, and it's one of the many inspired by Night of the Living Dead. Think about it. It's a very similar storyline when you do. A group of people taking shelter in a cabin in the woods instead of a farmhouse. And although it's not true zombies they are avoiding, it's their demonically possessed friends. The greatest inspiration, I think, though, comes from the fact that you have a final guy rather than a final girl, like in Night of the Living Dead. We have the heroic Ben in the classic '68 film, and the heroic Ash in The Evil Dead. You already know it, but The Evil Dead is one of my all-time favorite horror movies, and any opportunity to recommend it, I'll take. I would normally ask if you've seen it, but for this one, I'll ask how many times, and what do you think of Night of the Living Dead? Comment below and let me know. And please be sure to check out Jason's review. We're coming to get you, Barbara, and we're coming to review more films in the Terror in the Aisles challenge. Which is next? Check back soon to find out. Thanks for watching, guys. Hit that thumbs up and be kind, subscribe.